Hi student scientists, Mr. Pastel here, and I'm here with my friends, Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, Marie Curie, and Charles Darwin, and these are some of the most famous scientists of all time. So now I have a question for you. What does a scientist look like? What does a scientist look like? So what I want you to do is get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, or even just a Post-it, a piece of scrap paper, and draw what you think a scientist looks like. What does a scientist look like? Draw it. I'll give you 1 minute. Please get started, and if you need to pause the video, that's fine. Okay. What did you draw? Are you almost finished? So if you're like most of my students, let me just move my friends a little bit. If you're like most of my students from previous years, this is what you draw. You usually draw, or students usually draw a male scientist with spiky hair. Sometimes it's an older scientist. And the scientist is holding some explosive chemicals. But in reality, there's many types of scientists and engineers, and not all scientists look like my friends here. So scientists come from all walks of life, all ages, all races, all genders. So the next thing that we're going to do is take a personality test to find out which type of scientist or engineer you might become one day. Let's look at that. So now we're going to go to mysciencepersonality.weebly.com. I actually created this website over the years, and it's called the Science Engineering Personality Test. I created it years ago, and it's free for me to create, which is why it has the Weebly.com in it. If you're ever interested in creating your own website, you can create one on Weebly. But anyway, again, mysciencepersonality.weebly.com. And if you're in the right place, you should see this jellyfish here. So which type of scientist or engineer could you become in the future? Start by making your first choice. Do you prefer to experiment or to build new things? This is one of the most important choices in this personality test. So if you prefer to experiment on things that already exist, that would make you a scientist. But if you like to build new things from scratch, that would make you an engineer. Very important decision there. So choose one of those. And whatever you click, it's going to give you more options. So I might be a scientist. Do I prefer living or non-living? I personally prefer living. So I'm interested in living things. I prefer animals. So I would be a zoologist. That's the name of the type of scientist that I would be if the animals are on land. So if I want to learn more about zoology, I would click here, and it does an automatic Google search. Maybe I'm not satisfied with that. Maybe I want to start over. I would click home again. And maybe I prefer to explore the engineering a bit. I like machines. I like planes. Okay, so in this other pathway, I would be an aeronautical engineer, and I can read more about it. And if you want to see the full list, you can click on Science or Engineering and look at all your options there. So, now that you've finally decided which type of scientist or engineer is the best fit for you, what I want you to do is get a piece of printer paper, and in the top half of the printer paper, draw yourself as an adult in that role. draw yourself as a specific scientist or engineer. And then underneath the drawing, which should be in color, please write 3 reasons why you would be a good fit to be that type of scientist or engineer. What skills do you bring? What parts of your personality? Why do you enjoy that work? That's it for today. Stay curious.